This is a podcast of 98FM's Dublin Talks. Remember, catch the show live Monday to Friday at 10 a.m.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
98FM.
I'm Adrian Kennedy, and this is our esteemed programme director.
Programme director?
I'm going to call you that, yeah. You're the director of this programme.
I like that.
This is Mr. Jeremy Dixon. He's our show producer. I'd love to know your opinion on this. As you know, yesterday was International Women's Day, and lots of events all over Dublin, all over the world, in fact, to celebrate International Women's Day. But one particular stunt that Aer Lingus did yesterday has annoyed a lot of people, especially men. Okay?
Well, only men, I think. I can't imagine any woman getting upset about it.
Well, maybe not. Okay, here's the headline in one news story today about this. Okay, it says Aer Lingus offering free priority boarding to all female passengers to celebrate International Women's Day. The service was available on 110 short-haul flights out of Ireland yesterday. One flight to the States actually had a full female crew.
No problem with that.
No problem with that. No. But here's the thing.
Did they have to get a man to park the car or to park the plane in New York? I'm joking.
Okay, so more than 2,000 of the 4,200 Aer Lingus employees are female, carrying out roles across all areas, including pilots, cabin crew, blah, 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 blah. But what they did yesterday annoyed men. And priority boarding is something that you have to pay for. Or if you're an Air Club member, you get priority boarding and so on.
It's a privilege, isn't it?
It's a privilege, yeah. But yesterday, all you had to do was be a woman to get priority boarding on a load of flights yesterday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the photographs taken at the airport yesterday, at Dublin Airport, and the sign at the boarding gate, it basically said, big signs, and it said, priority boarding to all women travelling with Aer Lingus today. And it says... then it says underneath, it says International Women's Day. And naturally enough, people, including myself, by the way, Adrian, I normally don't get triggered by things.
Yeah.
I'm normally a live and let live kind of guy. I don't let things get my blood pressure up. But my blood pressure was through the roof yesterday when I read this.
Really? You got stressed?
I actually did.
I didn't get bothered by it because I wasn't travelling yesterday. You see?
Yeah, I got very...
If I were in the airport and all of the women were allowed on the plane before me, I might have been a bit more annoyed, but I wasn't in the airport, so it didn't really bother me.
Well, I ended up, and this is very rare for me, I ended up getting into very heated debates on Twitter yesterday with feminists over this, because what I said, and I stand by my points, what I said, Adrian, was I think it's International Women's Day is about recognising that men and women are equal. Correct? Is that what it's about?
It's also about recognising the achievements of women.
Yeah, but we can do that any day. Women are great. There, I've said it. There, we don't need a day to celebrate it. I've said it there. They're great. You're brilliant. Women are great. However, to discriminate and to give priority to somebody purely based on their gender is sexism. Okay? That's the first point. Completely sexist. Completely sexist. For a queue of people, yeah, to be queuing up. I mean, it's like Rosa Parks sit down the back of the bus job. Remember that back in the bad old days of America?
Yep.
Rosa Parks was black. Where was she told to sit?
At the back of the bus.
Yep. Now, I'm not saying that Aer Lingus are racist or anything like that, but what they did yesterday, in my humble opinion, was nothing short of sexism. Okay, that's my first point.
Okay, but let me read what Aer Lingus said as to why they did it, yeah? Aer Lingus said they decided to offer the service as a gesture to join in this global celebration, recognising the achievements of women and promoting greater gender equality. Now,
it's discrimination.
By promoting greater gender equality, they did the exact opposite, did they not? By saying women get priority boarding.
Oh, you're agreeing with me? I wasn't expecting this.
No, but their argument is they are promoting greater gender equality, so why would you let women on the plane first?
If it's equality.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Text us now, 087 798 98 98. Text or WhatsApp. I'd love to hear from women in particular, because we know that men find it sexist, but how do women feel about that? I think it's extremely sexist. I also think what Aer Lingus did yesterday is extremely patronising. I think it's very patronising on women. It's good girl, you go first. Pat on the head for you. There you go. Good girl, you go first. You're only a girl. You go first.
Okay, and here's the question that I want to ask as well. On Monday, the 19th of November. Okay, so it's a fair bit away, but next November is International Men's Day. Yeah.
That's a ZFG day, though.
No, I agree.
ZFGs.
Yeah, absolutely.
0 of them given.
Yeah.
0.
But Monday the 19th of November is International Men's Day, and I want to know, if I happen to be travelling on that day, will I get on the plane before the women? Chances are, no.
No, we can't preempt what Aer Lingus will do, but if I was a betting man, I would bet you that Aer Lingus will not do the same for men on International Men's Day.
But they certainly didn't do it in last November.
No, they didn't.
So...
Now, are we a couple of men who were just getting hurt over nothing? I mean, there's somebody, have you no other topics to talk about? We've loads of topics to talk about. This is one topic that we are talking about, one of many, and it's something that people are very vexed about. Let me read some of the comments online, Adrian, from people about this. Oh dear, said one man, I hope this is a joke. That's blatant discrimination. Unless you're planning on holding an International Male Day and letting all male passengers have priority boarding, someone really didn't think this one through, did they?
Now, and to that person, there is an International Men's Day. It's held in November. And this year, it's on the 19th.
It's never a mention.
No, it never gets mentioned. No, it doesn't. No. But International Men's Day is next November. Will Aer Lingus let men on the plane first? I doubt it. I really doubt it. But there is such a thing. But then, by contrast, did you ever hear the saying, it's a man's world? Fair play to Aer Lingus, says that WhatsApp message. Text or WhatsApp your opinion to us, or better still, call us on 6797 981. 6797 981. Do you think it was sexist of Aer Lingus to do that yesterday, or do you think it was a great gesture, bearing in mind it was International Women's Day? We'd love to hear from you on this. Let me go to line 1. Sean, you're on 98FM. How are you, Sean?
Not too bad. How are you?
Now, Sean, I was saying this doesn't really bother me that much because I wasn't travelling yesterday.
But it should bother you on behalf of men, Adrian. It's like, stick up for your gender.
No, you see, I don't believe in you don't either, by the way. Getting upset on other people's behalf. I wasn't affected by this yesterday.
No, but as a man, I think that's the problem, Sean, isn't it? Is that men, unlike women fight for their rights and they fight for causes, whereas men just sit back, and you see this every day in the family law courts where men are granted little or no access to their children. They just take it sitting down. We as men, we are, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, and Sean, I'm sure you have as well, over the last couple of years, men are becoming vilified and criminalised almost to a point that we are becoming second-class citizens. The pendulum has swung the other way, Adrian, and I don't know if you've noticed that.
I have noticed, yeah.
It's time.
Sean, what do you think of that as a publicity stunt for International Women's Day by Aer Lingus yesterday?
No, I didn't know about it now until you just said it. I knew there was not a female flight crew, but I didn't know that they were letting like the women on first now. But I wasn't flying yesterday, so I'm not really... No, and
that's the point that I was making. I wasn't flying yesterday either.
But if I was going away and, the stress of going away and getting everything ready and then being told that you have to wait, I would be a little annoyed now.
And I have to say, I probably would be as well if I was going on a flight yesterday and they let all the women on first and then the men had to wait at the back of the queue. I think I'd have been fairly pissed off, but I wasn't, so it doesn't really affect me personally.
I mean, a girl said to me on Twitter yesterday, Sean, she said to me that the reason they are doing it and the reason we have International Women's Day is because women have been oppressed for many, many years. And I said, my reply to her was, that's fair enough. But this girl I was talking about...
And by the way, just on a more serious note, International Women's Day is about women around the world.
Yes.
And there are women around the world that still are oppressed.
Absolutely.
Let's make that perfectly clear.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with Aer Lingus, okay, what happened yesterday. And my point to this girl is 19 years of age and in college. How is she being oppressed? She's not like she's a member of the suffragette union. I asked several female friends of mine yesterday, Adrian, who are in their 20s, yeah? Mm-hmm. And why I have friends who are in their 20s is another question. I like to keep young, Adrian, have young friends.
Go on anyway.
But I asked them, did they feel oppressed in any way? And they said they have never felt oppressed.
No, because generally speaking, women aren't oppressed here.
And one woman tried to justify it by saying, well, in Saudi Arabia, women are very oppressed. What has Saudi Arabia got to letting women board planes first in Dublin, for God's sake?
No, and like I said, there are women oppressed in many parts of the world still to this day, and that is the whole idea of International Women's Day, to strive for equality between the sexes around the world. But we do have equality between the sexes here in Ireland.
Yeah. So, Sean, had you
maybe not 100%, but we certainly were getting there.
So, Sean, had you been queuing up at the gate yesterday and they said women first, would you have kicked up a fuss?
It depends really now. If I was stressed out now, I'd be like, come on, this is a joke, But
I
Other
would.
than that,
I would
don't
have
really
thrown a tantrum. Let me
But
tell you.
International Women's Day was meant to be on Wednesday, but they took too long to get ready.
Oh, right. 98 FM would like to distance itself from that comment. Thanks, Sean. I'd love to hear from women on this, on 6797981. Like, we're giving women the opportunity to speak here.
Years ago, you wouldn't be allowed to talk on the radio as women.
So this lady sent us this message, and
what does she say?
It says, lads, women have been oppressed for hundreds of years.
Here we go.
And you are bothered by one airline offering priority boarding for women. I have to be honest with you. I'm not bothered by this, okay? Assuming Aer Lingus are going to do the same thing for men in November, which they're not.
Well, then you are bothered
So
by
then
it.
I am. Well, no, I'll let the jury decide. Let's wait till November. But I know bloody well they're not going to do the same thing for men in
And
November.
to that woman, was that a woman that texted in?
That's a woman,
I
yeah.
would ask you the same question. Are you oppressed? Okay? Are you oppressed? If so, how are you oppressed? Your mother oppressed, Adrian. Your woman's been on this world 78 odd years, yeah?
Really? You've just aged her by 7 or 8 years.
Okay, well, whatever. Your mother's around 70 years, yeah? Is she oppressed? Has she ever felt oppressed?
No, I don't think so.
So how do you? How are
Okay,
you
but let me
oppressed?
read the rest of this person's message. Sinead, we're offering you the right to come on the air and...
Yeah, we're trying not to oppress you by giving you airtime.
She said no. She told Jamie no, she wouldn't speak.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, here's what she said in the rest of her message.
So we give women a voice and they don't speak.
Bothered by... there are still gender pay gaps and you are complaining over one small gesture. Get over yourselves, says that message from Sinead.
Sinead, if there's about the gender pay gap, and I've always said this, the gender pay gap is wrong. A woman getting paid less than a man is wrong, okay? But that is your job as an employee in your company. If there is a male in your company, Sinead, I don't know where you work, but if there's a male who's doing the exact same job as you and getting paid more, fight your own bloody battles. That's your job, to go into your boss and say, pay me more. Don't be giving out to me about it.
Lads, I was at work yesterday and our HR manager went out and bought loads of roses and tulips and boxes of chocolates for all the women where I work. They would have cost several €100. When it comes to International Men's Day, we don't get a thing. It really hasn't motivated all the lads where I work. David, you're on 98 FM. How are you, David?
Oh yeah, Adrian, good morning, lads.
You're annoyed over this as well?
Yeah, I'm very annoyed, yeah.
Why?
If I was there queuing up after paying for my ticket, I would have hit the roof. Why should I get on the plane? Because it's a silly little day. Why?
Now, to call it a silly little day is a bit disingenuous, because it is an important day. It's important to recognise... I can't believe I'm saying this, Adrian. Let me read the script. It's important to recognise the role that women have in modern society and to see them as equal. Why we need a day for it, I don't know.
I can tell you one thing. Every day is International Women's Day.
No, but lads, again, I'm going to stress, this is not just Irish Women's Day. This is International Women's Day. Sorry, lads, there are still many, many countries in the world where women are second-class citizens, okay?
I understand that, Adrian, but Jesus, it should be International Moaners Day, because that's all they do is moan. I'm sick of them.
You see,
Go on, sorry.
I can hear women listening now that would say to David that you're a misogynist. If you say anything, if you even question things like this, you're accused of misogyny. I get the point you're trying to make. In Ireland, women are generally not oppressed, Adrian.
Right, but here's one fight that's going to cause a bit of inflict. In Ireland, they should remain in the kitchen where they belong.
No. Good luck to you, David.
And any man that says a woman belongs in the kitchen clearly hasn't tasted my wife's cooking, because she doesn't belong in the kitchen. She actually doesn't.
Where am I going now? Sarah, how are you, Sarah?
Hi, how are you?
Sarah, what did you think of this stunt by Aer Lingus yesterday, giving women priority boarding on many of their short-haul flights?
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I actually think it's a bit embarrassing, because if they're talking about equality and we're all equal, well, that doesn't really make us equal. Exactly what you said there a couple of minutes ago. It's like a pat on the head. You go ahead.
Yeah, good girl. You go first, yeah.
You go ahead. I think it's a bit embarrassing. If we're all equal, we're all equal. Happy days on the flight. What if I was with my partner going on that flight yesterday, and I was ahead of him, and I'm sitting there waiting, where is he?
Yeah, but nobody wants to sit with their partner on a flight, anyway.
Really?
No, I don't like sitting beside me.
You must really hate your wife.
No, I love my wife. But I
you
don't
just
want
have to give out about her 10 seconds ago.
No,
She can't cook.
she's not a great...
Now you don't want to sit on the plane with her.
No, I'm just saying it's nice to sit apart sometimes, isn't it? But you're right, Sarah. It's coming back to, like, the Titanic days. Remember what they used to... What did they say, Adrian, when the Titanic was sinking?
Women and children.
Women and children first.
Yeah.
That's what they said when the
Yeah,
time.
they did, yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't seem like we're equal if we're allowed to go first.
Yeah. Now, if I were on a cruise ship, Sarah, and you were on the same cruise ship as me, and the ship was sinking, okay,
Yeah.
and there's only one lifeboat left, Sarah.
Well, can I just stress, by the way, for anybody considering going on a cruise,
Okay,
there are adequate lifeboats for everyone
Okay,
on
but
the
on
ship.
this particular cruise ship, we went on a cheap cruise ship, Sarah, and there's only one lifeboat left. The ship is sinking, and there's one seat left on that lifeboat, and myself and Sarah are the last two on the ship.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but it's first come, first served, is it not?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And
No, I wouldn't push you out of the way and rob the seat, but I mean, if I got there first.
Are we together on that cruise ship? Like, are we both together?
Oh yeah, we're a
Because
couple. We're a
it's not
couple.
like-
Yeah, you're my wife, and you're on the cruise ship.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't leave without you. So if it's women and children first, and I can't go with you, I'm staying with you.
Ah, jeez. So you die with me on the cruise ship?
I'm staying with you on the cruise
There's
ship.
love.
No, but then you leave our child as an orphan. One of us has to get off the ship.
No, we have no kids. If this is a fantasy, I have too many kids. At the
Okay,
moment,
we have-
so
This fantasy is getting a bit
we've got no
weird
kids.
here.
And I like the way you're fantasizing about me, Sarah. Women never fantasize about me. So
Good luck, Sarah. Chris, what's your opinion on this stunt by Aer Lingus yesterday? How are you, Chris? Oh, hang on now. Oh, he should be there. Yeah, he's not there. No, nobody there.
Let me read out a text message here. Imagine trying around telling a woman to stand aside unless you're a man and not allowed to board yet. There would be war. And that's what a lot of people are saying, Adrian. If the shoe were on the other foot.
Oh, absolutely. Let's imagine last November, Aer Lingus announced that it
So
was
what date is it? I want to make a note of it on my phone. What's the date of
the
international?
19th of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened last year to market?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But let's say last November, as the first sample of this, Aer Lingus did a priority boarding for men for International Men's Day. I guarantee you there would be uproar over it. There really would. Heads would roll.
Can I read out a very controversial text?
Yeah, well,
Why? Why can't I?
what's it say?
Well, we're a controversial show. Well,
What?
it's. I don't think it's that controversial. Regarding, I'd love to talk to this person. Regarding the gender pay gap, says this texter, it's a myth. Okay, so they don't.
It's
believe
not
it
a myth,
happens.
by the way. That is.
Yeah,
been
I'm just saying with this
proven,
texter, they use ridiculous stats and say there's proof of a pay gap. If it still exists, there will be more cases in court. And they would actually have a valid reason to go to court, says Niall and Santry. Niall, you're not brave enough to come on the air, and I don't blame you. You'd be ripped apart like an animal. But to say that the gender pay gap is a myth is completely wrong. It does happen.
It absolutely does. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Adrian gets paid more than me, and he's the same gender as me. How does that work out?
Because I'm much more talented.
That can't be the reason.
Ronan, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Ronan?
How's it going, lads? All right?
Now, Ronan, you'd a point on the gender pay gap.
Yeah, just in sport, right? In tennis, here's an example for you. So in women's, they play best of 3. In men's, they play best of 5 sets.
Yep.
But they want the same pay. How does that make sense?
This is something that has come up time and time again about Wimbledon and people.
The prize fund and all
No,
that.
not the
yeah.
prize fund.
The lads could be out there 4 or 5 hours, and then the women are only there about an hour and a half.
Yes,
They want the same prize money.
in the women's final and the semi-finals, and in fact all the matches I think in Wimbledon, women play the best of how many sets?
The best of 3.
3.
Yeah, whereas men play the best of 5, which again is very patronising. You girls aren't able for 5 sets, but the men are.
They're able to collect the same money at the end of the day.
Okay, so basically you're saying if they want equal pay in the world of tennis, then they should be playing the same amount of
They
game
seem to
time.
pick and choose their battles, that's what I'm saying.
All right, and one last call on this. Chris, how are you, Chris?
How are you doing?
Good, Chris. What did you want to say?
I just wanted to say I can't believe our men have turned into such snowflakes.
Meaning?
That's like, they're getting so animated and upset about women getting the bar, getting onto the plane first.
Because a lot of men, Chris, feel that the pendulum has swung the other way, and that men are now seen as the devil by a lot of people.
Yeah, but come on, it was a stunt by Aer Lingus.
No, but the argument is, Chris, last November for International Men's Day, if Aer Lingus had done the exact same thing, we would be having we would have had a very different conversation. There would have been murder over it.
Absolutely, they would have kicked up murder, but that's women. That's what they do.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? Getting so animated about them getting priority boarding. Like, if were they putting them on a different section of the plane, where the men could sit down and relax.
Like, there's every year there's an event that's held in Dublin that men are not allowed to enter. Now, I'm sure you know the event I'm talking about.
The women's mini marathon.
The women's mini marathon. By the way, I'm not knocking the women's mini marathon. It raises millions of money for charity. But that is an event in which men are banned from. And men have
in fact,
never...
we took part in it years ago, and then the year after we took part, men were banned.
Yeah, we were the last men ever to run in the mini marathon.
Maybe that's why they banned men, because of us.
Well, you were wearing fake boobs, Adrian. You looked ridiculous. He actually did. He wore fake boobs.
Okay, let me just bring in one last call. Dennis, you're listening to us in Santander in Spain.
I am, yeah. How are you?
And there's been mad stuff going on for Women's Day.
Yeah, well, last night there was like every large city in Spain protest. Bilbao, Barcelona, Madrid, huge protest. All the streets were closed. I think it's a lot more of a problem over here in Spain. I think there's a lot more statistics that would worry the people over here with the women's thing and all that stuff.
Okay, in that there's a lot more inequality between women and men in Spain.
Yeah, I saw some statistics like there's a woman raped here in Spain every 8 hours.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Okay.
So like it's very serious. But yeah, they were going mad over it over here now. So very surprising to see. So don't be thinking.
Like go mad in what way?
I mean, the signs. It was like they were protest. It's like the abortion protest, but 10 times as big. But you wouldn't expect it just because of International Women's Day. Mad. Yeah.
All right, okay. And this is the point that I was making earlier on. There are parts of the world where the equality between the sexes is much more much wider than it is here in Ireland, and it is called International Women's Day. Anyway, thanks for your call, Dennis. What's the weather like in Santander?
Not much better than home, I'd say. It's miserable up here in the north of Spain.
It's in the north of Spain, yeah.
Is it in the Basque region, is it?
No, Cantabria, right beside it.
Oh yeah, and is that the place that's like a big horseshoe? It's a big circular bay and stuff like that.
It is. That's the city.
Yeah, it looks beautiful actually. It looks beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Would I be right in saying, Dennis, it's a bit too upmarket for someone like Adrian Kennedy?
No, not at all. Sure, it's a Ryanair destination.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
Kennedy
it's a Ryanair
destination.
Yeah. And how did you end up there, of all places, Dennis?
I'm actually studying here. I'm doing a Bachelor of Education here.
Oh, fair play.
Studying here.
All right, good to talk to you, Dennis. Thanks very much indeed.
98FM.
This is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98FM.